Okay, so now that my base is on, I'm gonna go in and do my eyebrows and my eyes, and we're gonna go super glam with it, and we're just gonna have fun. So, let's do this. Use my Louise uh, eyeshadow base because it is very pigmented and toned kind of for my skin. It comes in a bunch of different colors. I don't use it much because I prefer clear eyeshadow bases, just so that the pigment of the skin tone doesn't get in the way of things. So I'm going to apply this all over the lid, and then I'm going to use it also to carve out that brow. I'm not going to carve it out on top, because I do have all of like the powders and everything going on up there. Um, so I feel like that's, I don't want to put anything on top of that and have it be all weird textured. So, along with contour, eyebrows are one of the things where people will reach out and they'll want these like really like carved out or like um, really defined brows, and it's one of those things that you need a lot of makeup to make look like not crazy. But a lot of people think that they don't need a lot of makeup, that it's just like, well, you just put the brows on. It's like, no, you need a lot of makeup for that. I said I wouldn't do it, but here I am. And I'm gonna touch up the end of that brow because I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with it at all. Gently tap around it. Some on my brow, meaning I have to redo to deepen. Gonna find this inner corner with my finger. This is something I notice I have to do with colored bases, like P. Louise, because once it dries down, it will um, kind of sit there and you can't really blend anything over it. So now we're going to start the eyeshadow process. So I have these three Morphe palettes, the metallics, and I have all of the metallics. I think I'm going to go with the rose gold today. It's very pretty. This one right here. And I'm going to do something that's kind of like super glam goal is kind of my goal, but we'll kind of see how things play out. So I'm going to take a fluffy brush and kind of like it's a mid-tone pink in the palette, but because I'm so fair, it's going to look a lot darker on me. And I'm going to start tapping that on the my crease. I'm not going to go up too far so that it goes into what would be my brow bone highlight, but I'm going to tap it into that area. And when I start the first layer of eyeshadow, I do that that is touching the eyeshadow base because the eyeshadow base is so sticky. I try to be kind of mindful about where I place things because it's a little bit harder to blend things out from that area. So stamping is a little bit safer than kind of just like fluffing things on. And then I'm kind of pulling that color out to kind of support what will eventually be the wing of the look. Now I'm going to take a lighter color. It's like the lightest pink of the whole palette. And I'm going to go over that and into the inner corner and use that to kind of diffuse any edges. Now you can use a lighter pink first, and that's totally fine. Or you can use it after. It's up to you. It's all about kind of your preference. Usually I'll go in with the lighter color first, but I always like to change it up and see kind of what it turns out. So that kind of pulled the tone of it down quite a bit. So now I'm going to take a smaller brush than this because if I use the same brush to try to get some detail in, it's going to be really challenging because my eyes are fairly small. And this brush, if you look at kind of the brush size relative to my eyeball size, like it's going to be hard to get details. This is the Morphe M504. This is like super popular eyeshadow brush. I think also people really liked it for highlighting. Back in the good old days of 2016. People talk about that year like it was this like mythical year, which it was super fun for makeup, like undoubtedly, but it's like it wasn't that. I mean, I guess it was close to 10 years ago. But people act like they weren't just like doing their makeup and you know, I would think like 16 makeup versus now. It's like a lot of people who are doing these tutorials were doing makeup in that year, but whatever. So I'm going to take a really small kind of paddle shape brush. I don't know if paddle shape is the word I want, but I don't know what else to describe it as. It's an Eco Tools brush. I got this 20 years ago. I don't know. I've had it for a very long time. And I'm going to take a, um, let's see, how would I describe this color? I'm going to take a color like this, and I'm going to go into my crease and define that area. And then I'm going to kind of wing that out as well. Now this isn't the best for blending, it's more for placing your color. And then I'm just kind of gently bringing that color in. And now I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna pack that color on a little bit more. It's like, okay, like we'll go in and baby step. Sorry, my nose is itching. It's like have to like touch it and then it stops. Um, like make sure you really know where you want to place the color and you can kind of blend it out. That first pass and then the second pass, you can really like lay it on there. And then I'm gonna take a tiny dome brush. This is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush, the JH39. Wow, that's a throwback, isn't it? And just gonna go in and kind of change the tone a little bit back to a rosy color because that was a little bit more on the golden side. Then I'm gonna go back in with the fluffy brush and blow it out a little bit more. So I'm gonna kind of mix those first two colors I used and now I'm going to take my tiny brush again. Actually, I'm going to take this tiny brush and I'm going to take a brown and I'm going to really, really try to gently go in and go in that crease before I go in and cut it with some micellar water. Now, you can continue to do a cut crease or anything without removing makeup. I have done that for a very long time. But I'm trying to kind of see what other people are doing and giving it a try and seeing if I like it. So like right in the crease, I'm taking a brown. So I'm gonna place it like that, and I know it's unblended, but I'm gonna take a bigger blending brush because this is not good blending. It's gonna kind of keep putting that color there. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. Fluffy brush. small circles so that we're not completely removing the color, but we're also blending away. We're having a little bit of fallout, but I'm going to try to brush that away. And then I'm just going to dip the tip into the brown. Shine. Even though I'm going to do some erasing, I want to make sure that I get exactly what I want. That's what I want. I'm going to go onto the little right outside. I like the way that looks. So I'm going to get any of this fallout off from underneath my eyes, and then I'm also going to use some micellar water on Q-tip to kind of carve out the shape a little bit more. Now, if you want something a little bit softer or a little bit more natural looking or whatever, you can kind of keep this and not do this extra step, and things are going to look a lot more blended. But this next step is going to kind of give like a really defined area that we're going to apply the next layer of eyeshadow. So, up to you on how you want to do this. Okay, so now that I've carved out the area that I'm going to use, I'm going to need to reprime because I plan on using shimmery shadows. I've seen a lot of people use glitter glue instead of eye primer to get their shimmers to really pop, and I'm like, that's genius because a lot of shimmery shadows, they're really hard to get that full like shine effect. So I'm going to use a glitter primer instead of a eye primer. Glitter primers tend to be a little bit more sticky. There are a couple different ones on the market. I think Elf has one. I use the one from NYX. It just says glitter primer. It's got this like holographic packaging. I've been using this same like the NYX primer and the Elf primers for years. There's also one by LA Splash or LA Girl that I used for a long time that was amazing and like would hold glitter all day long, no fallout, amazing. So now I'm going to use the same tiny little paddle brush that I was using before to pack on my shimmers so that I get them exactly where I want. And then we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to be using the same rose gold palette. And this is a colorless primer. So I'm not too worried about it impacting the rest of my makeup, but I'm not just smearing it all over because I don't want it to disrupt what I've already done. I'm also going to take it in the inner corner because I want to put a little shimmer shine right there. So just a nice little tacky base. So I'm going to take a kind of light to mid-tone shimmer color and knock off any excess. Place that down right on the lid. Nice and shiny, way more payoff than I normally would get. It's not, it's still not the same as if I would apply with my finger. I find that that is tends to be the best because it doesn't fully lay down all of the shimmer pigment. Some of it's kind of like tilted up, and so it lets the shine be a little bit more prominent. So I'm just going to go in and see better. A little less precision, but shiny. I'm going to put that actually all over my lid up to kind of the inner. And just see how carving it out just made that a lot more crisp. Now I'm going to go in with the lightest shimmer in the palette and try to apply it with my pinky. I can refine it a little bit with the brush, but just getting some of it in the area, hopefully. Yeah, I don't think I did a thing. My pinky's too big for that. Also, this isn't the most vibrant color. I was trying to think of a color that I had that was like a little bit more of a pop that had some of that rose gold. I don't know if I have something, but I do have a really great, just like white, um, uh, kind of shimmer, which I'm just going to use that. This is the Benai Lumiere Ultra Luxe powder in the color uh, Ultra Bright, and it's so crazy bright. It's it's like diamonds, but because it's kind of like a silver shine, it looks a little different. So that's why I was like, I don't know if I want to use that, but it's still so pretty. Also great as like mega highlighter. Like this will be great on the bone. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and tap it down a little bit because it was pretty intense. Still intense, but a little. So it's so bright. When you do a brow bone highlight, you want it to be the most vibrant underneath the arch, and then kind of blending it out from there. So bright. I might use this as a highlighter later on. We'll see. I have a lot of highlighters and might have some that will look good with the rose gold motif. Um, so now um, I want to apply a rose gold. I can't decide if I think I want a black wing, and I was thinking of using this middle color, this tasty little morsel right here to line around. Um, but that has high potential to mess up the entire look. I think I'm just gonna I don't like putting shimmers underneath my eyes. They exacerbate any texture that you might have. It's not something that looks like great on a lot of people, and then also it just can it's just not always a great look. However, I'm not above making mistakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that very first color that we used, so that kind of like mid-light pink. I'm going to take that paddle, we're just going to call it the paddle brush now, and tap off any excess. And I'm going to go in underneath the eye and put a little bit of color. Now, I always find that whenever you put a color underneath the eye, it always appears a shade or two darker. And there's a couple reasons for this. But the main one being that you have the shadow of the eyeball itself, because the eyeball is 3D generally. Well, I mean, it is, but usually it protrudes out beyond what underneath the eye is, and so it's going to appear darker. So if you are like, hey, every time I put a color that's really dark underneath my eye, it looks really insane. It's because it's appearing even darker underneath your eye. So always start lighter underneath your eye. And you can always go darker, but things are going to appear dark when you. Now, I know we all make fun of like the like open mouth or like funny faces when we put things under our eyes, but opening your jaw, like actually opens up your eyes and opens up the space. So there's actually a reason why we do it, even if it looks and feels a little bit silly. I think I know what I'm gonna do with that middle color, because that's kind of what the whole palette's built around, these like molten shadows. And I think I know what I'm gonna do with it that hopefully won't mess up the entire look. Um, so um, I am going to do my liner, and I'm going to use a black gel liner because that is my most reliable form of liner. So I'm going to do that off screen, because I always find that if I do it on camera, I have a lot more time, a lot harder time doing it. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished my eyeliner and I put some eyelashes on. I'm wearing 523s, just cheap lashes. They're light and fluffy. I haven't blended them with my what's going on with my throat. I haven't blended them with my lashes. I also went in with this center color and put that under. I also went in with this center color and went in underneath my eyes a little bit, and I also lined my waterline with the just like a nude, light nude pencil to open up my eyes. So that's what I've done well off camera, because I kind of forgot. Also, when I realized that this fell off sometime during filming, so I was like trying to find out where it was. I was thinking about doing lower lashes that kind of had some look to them, but I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling like this is kind of where we're going. Okay, so I'm going to put some mascara on and curl my lashes to have them fit together. So I have two eyelash curlers. I actually am sure I have like 1,000, but this is just like a cheap regular pair. And then I also have these tiny ones from Morphe that really get like into very specific areas. I This one is always like admittedly a little terrifying because I'm really afraid that it's gonna like pinch my eyeball off, and it sometimes hurts, so it's not always the most comfortable. When I cut off the excess of the lash, I just stacked it on the end to give a little bit more of a flare up. But I'm gonna start with my regular lash curler to kind of fuse my real lashes to the falsies. Kind of have to like work your way around them. Really gentle as to not have any of the glue or anything on your lashes adhere to the curler. I've seen people just like rip it off, and I'm like, it's gonna end bad one day. Be careful. Go around this one as well. Make sure that is adhered. Okay. Now I know some people like to do the trick where they will start kind of at the base and then they'll move a little bit further out and they'll pinch and then further out to get the curved look, which does look great. But I don't have lashes out there. So I've always just done it this way for myself, but when I do clients, it just kind of depends. So now I've curled them and I'm going to apply some mascara. So I'm going to use the Essence Lash Princess. I've mentioned it before. All mascara is kind of the same to me. I don't know. Sorry about it. So I'm going to use a spoolie. You know, because like a lot of mascara formulas are the same, and it's the brush that makes the difference. And because I am trying to keep things sanitary, I just use a spoolie, and so it's like, well, it doesn't really make a lot of difference. Wipe off any excess the top of the tube. Clumpy, and then also I cut a little bit of eyeshadow. So gonna do my lower lashes, which there are like three. Like I really don't have like any lower lashes. Okay. So that is what. And like sometimes when I'm working on clients, I'll forget to do the lower lashes, and they're like, "Are you gonna do the lower lashes?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like I totally forgot that those exist. That's like half the time I do mine. I'm like, I don't even bother. Um. So that is that. So I think eyes are done, and until I remember something that I forgot to do. So now I'm going to do the rest of the mug. So I am going to start with bronzing. So, and I could contour in bronze, but I think most people are just kind of vibing with just the contoured look, sorry, the bronze look. So I'm using Tarte's Park Avenue Princess. This is my go-to because it's a light bronzer that does not look too dark on my skin and too orange because like a lot of things will look too orange. Now I'm gonna go a lot harder and harsher and more prominent than I normally would go because I want this to be like a full glam moment. So just, bear with me because it's gonna look a little different from my norm. I'm gonna flip my mirror to be like the non super crazy magnified side because every time I catch myself, I'm like, ugh. Even if you are applying a lot and it looks insane and all of that stuff, it still should be blended. It's not an excuse to not blend out everything that you're doing. And you do have to work harder to blend it in. This is already like, I'm already like, ugh. With my double chin, I'm always very strategic about my placement because if I put it down where my jawline goes, right here, then I'll still have kind of like a little bit of a curve right there where I just have like natural facial fat. So I actually start where I want to place my, like where you can kind of see right there, if I went through that line, this would still show up. So I purposefully place the bronzer or contour right here. And then I blend into my jawline contour. I still have red in my hair. It's never going to come out. And figure out what I want to do with my lips on on this night tonight. I think I might actually use two bronzer colors because I'm not sure I can, because this is such a good bronzer for my uh, face, and I want to go like hardcore to show that I can do the drama. Um, I might actually do another bronzer. We'll see. Oh my gosh, my eye makeup is pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Get my ears in there so they don't look as out of place. See, I'm starting to get shine up here, and I'm also doing a foundation review, so I really like need to talk about that shine, but because the makeup's breaking up, and uh, yeah. Anywho, so I'm gonna find a darker color for. This might be a little bit dark. A little bit darker. I think that, yeah, just a little bit darker would be good. Also, people in California really love sun, which is a weird thing for me. 'Cause I'm holed up like a hermit. Ugh, this forehead shine thing is not giving. It's not giving. So I want the darkest part to be in like where the hollow is, and then of like the hollow of my cheek that I'm kind of creating like a synthetic hollow of my cheek because I do place my generally place my contour higher than where my actual hollow of my cheek is, because if I go too far down, it just makes my face look bigger. So I place it a little higher. Um, but yeah, we want the darkest part there and then what's blended out to be around it. This is fucking unrecognizable makeup if I've ever seen it. Definitely for me, this is not my usual. It's okay. It's fun to try something new. So it's weird to not have my mustache. I miss it. I'll take my mustache grows very slowly. Okay, so now that I have done that, I'm going to apply some blush. I have a lot of blush. I have a Before we apply some blush, I'm going to do a check in on this makeup. Okay, so next is blush, and a lot of people are doing either a lot of blush or they're doing very subtle blush. And I feel like because the bronzer and like the like snatched look of this, oh, I didn't put any bronzer on my nose. See, gotta forget something. So, let me do that real quick. Uh, Okay, so a little bit of color there. Not much, very light-handed. Even then, I'm like, ugh, I hate it. It's just not my thing, but it works on some people. It doesn't work as well on others. Um, so for my gosh, my forehead is so bronzed. So for blush, because I have this much work going into the bronzer, I don't think I'm gonna do that much. And then I'm also gonna kind of like feature like highlighter because a lot of people are really, oh, I need to powder my forehead because I'm like in my example, I literally took my clean finger and I just like pressed it into my forehead and I was like, that's how oily it is. You can see a fingerprint on the forehead. So I'm going to go back in with my beauty blender, and before I powder it, I'm gonna go in and just kind of like try to like blend it back together. Um, there are also some parts like right here that the foundation is breaking up that I normally don't have if I like in a foundation that works. Um, but I'm gonna go in with my powder and apply some more so that this look looks good. But the foundation does not get credit for that, so I had to kind of step away and be like, nope. Good old Santa Claus appeared, and then it's just like it's clear that this foundation is like, nope, we're gonna just break up. We're breaking up. I'm using the RCMA colorless powder, which is new to me, even though I've seen people use it for since the start of people doing makeup um, on YouTube. But it was always something that was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to order something online and have it not work for me. So I always like would buy makeup that was available to me like in person. But now being in LA, I can actually go and touch things and try things out. And so I actually get to try all this makeup that like I've wanted for years. And it's super cool. I'm very fortunate in that respect. You know, other things surrounding about getting to LA, totally different story. But I'll take the wins where I can get them. So hopefully this will help out. It didn't take. I took all the shine away, which the foundation was supposed to have like a satin finish, which would look really nice. I don't need it. Like makeup doesn't need to be super matte, but I prefer something to be super matte and to be able to apply shimmer and shine like where I want them rather than them just kind of being random. Therefore, like I can really have a lot of like mastery over like how things look because shine where you don't want it makes things look way way different. So anywho, so now blush, and I have to also consider the um highlight that I want to go with it. So I have some cream highlighters. I don't think I'm gonna go very pink with it because we kind of ended up very like mauve in here. I have two uh, blush colors. These are both just like single Krylon eyeshadows. This is the color Dusk. This is the color Golden Pink G. And I think together they would be like really pretty. But I know that a lot of people get scared with colors like this as blush. I love purple blush. So gorgeous. Um, so I don't know if like having it be like if this is like the mug that people use for like what they want for like wedding makeup or something, if that would be scary to them. So something to consider. I have some Anastasia colors. That mauve is really nice. But like I don't like the other colors with it for this look. I feel like I did no. Some orange, which no. And these Juvia's Place. Yeah. These bright. This might maybe. Although I know that one is very powdery and like pigmented, so I'm gonna have to go in with a light hand on that. So I'm gonna start with the Anastasia one and then see if I'm to add in more. Yeah, this looks not gonna need a lot of blush. It's not gonna I mean you can have it, but with all of this going on, I just for like the facial balance of it all, not feeling it. Just like this like little amount of blush, and I'm like, yeah, we got this. Okay, now. So I didn't realize I wasn't filming that last part. I'm not sure where I ended, but I did this lip color with this kind of like purpley brown lip liner, the Selena Viva Glam lipstick, and some shimmery kind of gold lip gloss. I have highlighted and bronzed way more than I ever do. Cut the crease, put some lashes on, and this is the look, the final look. And I hope you enjoy it. Sorry, I did not record that last bit. I forgot. I did not realize I was not recording. So thank you for hanging out with me today, and I will see you later.